Monday. It is June 30th, and we have a couple things we need to discuss here. I'm pretty sure the audio is working just fine. So we're just going to jump right into this. It's going to be a very topic-specific live stream, which we don't generally do, but you guys need to have this information. This has to do with the One Big Beautiful Bill. It has to do with Medicare. It has to do with Medicaid. It has to do with numerous other things. It has to do with Chuck Schumer. But these are things that we need to discuss. Sarah, hi, I see you. You told me you can hear me, so we're just going to jump into it. I know it's early. It would have been earlier. I almost did this about 7:45 this morning, but I just got done with my breast ultrasound that I told you guys about yesterday. Now to wait 2 or 3 days for the results to see if everything's okay or not. So fingers crossed, we're all good. All right, let's jump into this, okay? Like I said, it'll be shorter. Yeah, I say that all the time, but in theory, it'll be shorter. So, we talked about it already that Chuck Schumer wanted the One Big Beautiful Bill read aloud on the Senate floor because he wanted to make sure that people really understood what was in it, because he's thinking if they really understand what's in it, they're all going to vote nay. Nobody's going to want to push this through. The Republicans are going to call it a dumpster fire. The Democrats are going to call it a dumpster fire, and it's going to die on the Senate floor. That's pretty much what Chuck Schumer was hoping for, right? So between him, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, all of them, AOC, all the lefty crackheads, they really pushed to have this thing read. Chuck Schumer did not do it himself. He had some underling read the whole thing out loud. Took about 16 hours, and it finished yesterday after 16 hours of reading. And in this whole One Big Beautiful Bill, a lot of information was given, right? They read the whole thing out loud, and I can guarantee you that there will now be some Democrats who vote yay for it, and there may be some Republicans who vote nay for it. It will just depend on what each person deems important. Like, we know Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to vote yay for it anymore because she doesn't like the AI aspect behind it, which a lot of people don't agree with the AI aspect of the One Big Beautiful Bill, and basically making it so that states for 10 years can't have any control over what AI does, which I think is very, very weird. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than we really truly know. I'm trying to get all that information because I want to know the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to the AI section of it. But you're going to have some Democrats out there who are going to vote yay for it, because although the Democrats right now are pushing that the cuts to Medicare and the cuts to Medicaid are going to destroy this whole planet, the United States, there are others out there that see exactly what it's meant for, and maybe they agree with it, so they'll vote yay for the bill. But I want to just give you kind of an update of what's gone on. So the White House themselves posted up on whitehouse.gov a lot of information when it comes to One Big Beautiful Bill. They put it out yesterday, a little bit later yesterday, so we're talking about it today. And I want you to see, I know it's backwards because it's a live stream, but this is exactly what's going on here. And the we're going to go through the myth versus fact, which is what they called it. I know you guys could look all this up for yourselves, but we're just going to have this conversation. You can do whatever you need to do while you listen, because I'm not really going to show you anything. This is all talking, right? So let's go in order of how the White House deems the importance here, because the first one they have up here is myth, that the One Big Beautiful Bill is just a tax break for billionaires, okay? Fact, according to the White House. Now, this is a Republican-run White House. This is because, President Trump has put forward this One Big Beautiful Bill, so the White House is going to give you the information the way that they see it, which if it was a Democrat-led whatever, they're going to give you information the way they see it, and a lot of times it's a little bit different, right? But I personally trust what is coming out of our current president. I trust what's coming out of our current White House setup. Caroline Leavitt, the president, everybody else, all right? So, myth, One Big Beautiful Bill is just a tax break for billionaires. Fact, the One Big Beautiful Bill delivers the largest middle and working class tax cut in U.S. history. The president's legislation will put more than $10,000 a year back in the pockets of typical hardworking families. This is the most pro-growth, pro-worker, pro-family legislation ever created. All right. Myth, One Big Beautiful Bill takes from the poor to give to the rich. Fact, low-income workers stand to receive the largest percentage reduction in their tax liability. The One Big Beautiful Bill delivers the largest tax cut in history for working and middle-class Americans, which is great. Myth, One Big Beautiful Bill makes life more unaffordable. Now, before I even read that, I would like to point out that the last 4 years, the inflation has been ridiculous, making life pretty unaffordable for a lot of hardworking American citizens. All right. Now, this one says the fact the bill delivers bigger paychecks, expanding take-home pay by over $10,000 per year for a typical family. Myth, the One Big Beautiful Bill hurts low-income families. Fact, The One Big Beautiful Bill is the most pro-family legislation ever created. It will deliver bigger paychecks, giving more than a $10,000 boost annually to everyday families. We are also expanding opportunity zones, expanding child care access, increasing the child tax credit, and creating newborn savings accounts, which, again, it doesn't give you all the information here, but I don't know if y'all saw it or have heard of it. The newborn savings account, I think that's absolutely amazing. And then the child tax credits, I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines of a $2,000 tax credit per child, per family, per household. I think I'm right on that. If I'm wrong and you guys know for a fact, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. This one here, the One Big Beautiful Bill is just a handout to corporations. That's the myth, right? The fact is this bill drives a blue collar boom with tax relief for workers, support for small businesses, and investments in American manufacturing, which we all know is fact based off of the tariffs game that has been played the last couple months in order to bring more manufacturing back to the United States of America and less of it from importing from other countries, right? It says here, the One Big Beautiful Bill boosts pay for millions, and with no tax on tips or overtime, those working hourly and service jobs receive additional tax relief. Now, the no tax on tips or overtime is great, but I think it's no tax on, no tax on, I don't know if it's all tips or if it's only credit card tips, because look, you're supposed to claim your cash tips. I know a lot of servers who do not claim cash tips, and I don't know if I can get in trouble for this, but when I was a server, I did not claim my cash tips. Prove I got those cash tips. That's my money. Prove it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how people feel about that. At the end of the day, when you're paying taxes, you want to pay as little tax as possible, right? So it's I don't know if it's going to be the same on credit cards and cash, or if it's only one or the other. But the no tax on overtime, I think, is great as well. Although, let's be fully transparent here. There are so many companies that are no longer giving overtime that there's not going to be that many people that have to worry about the tax on overtime. Over the last couple of years, because of the Biden administration, the corporations, a lot of them lowered their working hours. When I was in corporate America, I left corporate America in 2017, 18. One of the two, 2017 or 2018. I don't remember exactly what year, whatever. I left corporate America. Before I did, I was managing some Fortune 500 companies, right? Stores. For a Fortune 500 company, I was managing some stores. There we go. And it came down through the pipeline that our hiring practice and hours needed to be cut. So our part-timers used to get up to 32 hours, and our full-timers would get from 40 to 44, depending. 44 was considered overtime after 40, but they would get up to 40 hours. Then it came down the pipeline that your part-timers need to be no more than 25 hours, and your full-timers need to be no more than 32 hours, because they did not want to have to pay certain taxes. They did not want to have to pay certain medical. They did not want to have to pay. They didn't want to get into an overtime thing. It was easier for them to have us hire more workers for less hours than to give less workers more hours so that they could make decent paychecks, right? And that's where my whole issue with corporate America really started to kick in, was when I saw what they were doing to hurt the employees, yet they weren't taking any of the money out of the paychecks of the people who just sat on their butts in an office and told us what to do, while us in the grind of it were working our asses off to make them their bonuses while we were getting screwed on hours and pay. I was not okay with it. So I said, you know what, F this, I'm out. So I left. Now, when you have the, like this says, the no tax on overtime, again, how many people are legitimately getting overtime these days? Maybe that will change under the Trump administration. Maybe because of the things that are being put into effect with the tax cuts and everything else, you'll see corporations that are willing to give people more hours, pay more, things like that. But that's one of those wait and see, and every place is going to be different kind of things. It is nice that there is no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. It would just be better if more people could get that overtime and not have to pay tax on it, right? So let's see here. This one, no. Okay. The myth, the One Big Beautiful Bill hurts small businesses. And here's the fact, according to the White House. The One Big Beautiful Bill will make the Trump tax cuts permanent, including the small business deduction, helping Main Street grow and hire. Failure to pass this legislation will result in a $4 trillion tax hike. So there is what would you call it? Oh, I can't think of the word because, it's early and I haven't had breakfast yet and my coffee's still sitting next to me. So my brain it's still on nighttime hiatus. The downside to not passing it would be the negative effect of the tax hikes. Whereas if you pass it, you'll have tax cuts, but you're going to have those tax hikes and tax cuts. They're going to affect everybody differently, right? Incentive. That is a very good word, Eugenia. Thank you. Incentive. The incentive to pass it is the not $4 trillion tax hike. The downside to not passing it would be a $4 trillion tax hike. Okay. So then myth, the one big beautiful bill kicks American families off Medicaid. This is what's most important to a lot of people, the Medicaid and the Medicare section of the one big beautiful bill, because you have to look at what our country is right now. And there are a lot of senior citizens, a lot of people over the age of 65 who are in the Medicare and Medicaid bracket, right? So when it says that, it's going to kick a lot of families off Medicaid, and we talked about this yesterday, the day before, numerous times, how there's the left is losing their ever-loving minds over this 16 million people. Elizabeth Warren called them people kicked off Medicare and Medicaid. And it's like, well, of those people, how many of them are actually citizens, right? Go ahead and knock that in half. And how many of those actually need to be on this as opposed to are, finessing the system to be on it. I know y'all aren't finessing the system, but you have to realize there are people out there who will find any loophole to be able to get anything they can for free or for less money, even though they can easily afford it. I've seen people do it my entire life where they are clearly loaded and instead of paying bills will find ways to get discounts. Some people will say that's just smart. Get the discount where you can, even if it means lying and whatever. I don't agree with that. That's me personally. I'm not going to go someplace and expect somebody to give me a discount just because I don't want to pay what they're asking. If I have the money to pay it and I want it, I'm going to pay their price. I'm not going to convince them to give me a discount, whatever else, or try to get something for free by bitching and moaning and complaining about something or whatever else, or lying on stuff, right? So there are a lot of people scamming the system. I think it says smash hammer. I think that's what we're supposed to read there on your name. That is what happens. There's so many people scamming the system that it's hurting the people that legitimately need to be on there. So when you hear like Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, and all them talking about how 16 million people are going to lose Medicare and Medicaid benefits, that might be true, but how many more can then get on with Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, or your food benefits, your SNAP, your whatever else, could get on who need to be there, but haven't been able to because of all the people who shouldn't be there milking it and taking the money away. So there is going to be a shift, obviously, but for a lot of people, it's going to be a positive thing, not a negative thing. So let's read this. It says, again, the myth is the one big beautiful bill kicks American families off Medicaid. Fact. As the president has said numerous times, there will be no cuts to Medicaid. The one big beautiful bill protects and strengthens Medicaid for those who rely on it. Pregnant women, children, seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income families, while eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. That is the key word there to me, is abuse. The one big beautiful bill removes illegal aliens, enforces work requirements, and protects Medicaid for the truly vulnerable. I guess it's easy for me to say I'm okay with that because I'm not on Medicaid. There may be people on Medicaid, like I said, who don't agree with it because then they have to go to work or they will lose Medicaid or whatever else. And I know it sounds hypocritical for me to say that it sounds like a good idea when it's something that doesn't affect me, but I know plenty of people that it does affect, right? So let's move on. I saw Sarah said my microphone's scratchy from my hair. Anything's possible. I move around way too much. I know. Let's read this one. The one big beautiful bill cuts Medicare, right? Medicare has not been touched in this bill. Absolutely nothing in the bill reduces spending on Medicare benefits. This legislation does not make a single cut to welfare programs. It safeguards and protects those programs for all eligible Americans. And I think that's extremely important. Is it like scratchy again? Because I have no idea. It just depends on the day. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't on the microphone. I just see some people commenting. But that's important to know about Medicare because the Medicare open enrollment is, Sarah, you told me this before, October 15th through December 7th, or is it October 7th through December 15th? I get weird on that. I'm dyslexic sometimes, I guess. It's one of those two. It's open enrollment in those times. Now, there's numerous other times that you guys can enroll. And you know what? Because I don't know what's happening. Hold on. All right, can y'all still hear me? I figured that'll make things better. Somebody said the battery may be dying. It's fully charged, but y'all know how microphones work. Sometimes they do their job, other times technology sucks. So I've told you guys before numerous times about my partner, which is Chapter Medicare. There's a phone number in the description. There's a phone number in the links in the pinned comment. It's a free phone call for them to kind of help you figure out if you're in the right plan or not. It's one of the most beneficial things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And I bring it up now only because we're talking about this and the cuts to Medicare and the one big beautiful bill, no cuts to Medicare. I know so many people are worried about it. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that there won't be cuts to Medicare in the future. Let's be fully open there, right? That just because it's not in this bill doesn't mean it won't be in another bill, because you can't put everything into one. That would just make no sense. So there may be changes to Medicare in the future. Your best bet is to make sure that no matter what time of the year it is, that you're talking to somebody who can tell you if what you have is what you need. Because there are doctor's offices that are changing. There are prescription or pharmacists that are changing. There are all these different things that are changing, and your plan does not change along with those things. You have to change your plan to align with those things. So for those of you who are on Medicare or need to be on Medicare, I say it is worth making the phone call. Look, I've got this. It's going to be backwards. This is how much I believe in this. I have this all over everything. And I know it's backwards, right? But if you want, it's a free phone call. Like I told you guys before, the phone number is 513-898-3528. Just call them and they will tell you if you're on the right plan or not for what you need, what you're trying to do in life, what you're paying, all that kind of stuff. It is a good idea ahead of time before the open enrollment, which Sarah just confirmed is October 15th through December 7th. It's a good idea just to make sure that your doctors are still on what you need, that your prescriptions are still where you need them to be, all these different things. It never hurts to call. I'd rather spend 3 minutes doing that than 3 minutes doing something else if it could save me some money. Or it might be, you save no money because what you have is perfect. It's worth looking into. So when you have time, just give them a call. I promise you, you'll love it. And because they are based here in the United States of America, you will be able to understand anybody who picks up the phone. And I feel like that's a very important thing to point out, because I know it makes a difference for me when I'm calling places going, oh, am I going to understand what's happening here? Or is this going to be the most frustrating phone call I've ever had in my entire life? So anyway, let's go back to this. So no cuts to Medicare in the one big beautiful bill. Don't let anybody else scare you that they're taking everything away from you, because they're not. All right. Now, the next one, the one big beautiful bill will close rural hospitals. That's the one that Elizabeth Warren has been screeching at the top of her Pocahontas head about, is that they're closing all these hospitals and you're not going to have anywhere you can go and everything else. Low key, Sheila, is there a cost to call? No, it's 100% free. You call, it's 100% free. It costs you nothing to call. Just they help you out with, Chapter helps you out with figuring out, like I said, if you're on the best plan or not on the best plan, and they are a free to you option. They are, I don't know how to really explain it so it makes sense. So those of you who don't know, they were started by J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy and others. A ton of money was raised for Chapter Medicare so that could then be used to pay the people that are then helping you make your decisions on your Medicare, like which plans are the best for you. Their compensation has nothing to do with you. And I think it's great the way they do it all, because they have the ability to look through 24,000 different options, because there's so many ways you can do things, this B, this whatever. But when they do it all together, it's much easier the way they do it, because they can see everything all at once and figure out what's best for you, where you live, what you're trying to do, stuff like that. Let me get back to this before I forget what we're doing. All right, one big beautiful bill will close rural hospitals. That's the myth. The fact is, rural hospitals comprise just 7% of all hospital spending on Medicaid, illustrating that they have not benefited from the massive increase in waste, fraud, and abuse under the Biden administration. By strengthening Medicaid, we are making more resources available for vulnerable populations and safety net providers like rural hospitals. We are expanding rural hospital protection, providing targeted funds for rural care, and giving states flexibility to support local providers. Number one, rural is a very hard word for me to say, and I don't know why. Just like that hotel, Drury Inn, can't do it. My mouth cannot figure out how all those R's go together. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm fully aware. All right, so let's go. So for those of you who are in a more rural area and are worried about your hospitals, the One Big Beautiful Bill is actually going to help them, not hinder them. You're going to have more resources to the smaller hospital areas, which they're saying are just about 7% or whatever, but you're going to have more help versus less. So again, when you're listening to the side that wants to shoot down anything that the other side is doing, it makes it difficult to understand what is really going on and what is good and what is bad. The left, no matter what President Trump tries to do, they're going to crap on it every single time because they do not like him. It's not that they don't want the best for Americans, although it really does seem like it 99.9% of the time. I have to assume at least 0.1% of the time they do want what's best for this country, that small percentage. But it doesn't matter because they don't like the president. If it was literally anybody else, I feel like they would not be fighting so incredibly hard to keep this country in the shithole that they've put it in over the last 4 years. But because it's President Trump is why they have the issue, because they don't like him, the man, because he's not one of them. He's not a politician. He's not there to take from the poor and the rich and put it in their pockets. You know what I mean? Like unfortunately, Democrats and a lot of politicians, even on the right, the rhinos, they are for themselves, not for the country. They are for the profit, not for the country. You have to ask yourself how some of these politicians have so much effing money on the budget or the salary that they have, which is like, let's say $200,000 or less. I think Elizabeth Warren gets paid $175,000 a year, and she's worth millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Okay, all right, we'll go with it, but there's always something fishy there, right? Okay, let's go to this one. So this one says here, people will literally die from the One Big Beautiful Bill and millions will be kicked off their health care. All right, it's what we've talked about. Fact. This is one of the most egregious, deranged attacks from the left, peddling fear over the facts. The One Big Beautiful Bill protects eligible Americans on federal welfare, including Medicaid. By strengthening the integrity of Medicaid by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, its resources can be refocused on providing better care for those whom the program was designed to serve: pregnant women, children, people with disabilities, low-income seniors, and other vulnerable low-income families, as opposed to the ones milking the system or the ones who aren't even citizens and should not be getting a lick of money from it, right? Now, myth. The One Big Beautiful Bill will hurt people with disabilities. Fact. The One Big Beautiful Bill protects and strengthens Medicaid for Americans with disabilities. Rest assured, those with disabilities receiving Medicaid will receive no loss or change in coverage. Again, these are good things to know. Myth. The One Big Beautiful Bill punishes vulnerable Americans with work requirements to receive their benefits. And when I read these myths to you, I want you to know these are all things that Democrats have said, whether it's AOC, whether it's Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, any of them, and some rhinos have probably said these things. These are these are words straight from a Democrat's mouth that then the fact is obliterating, basically. So the myth punishes vulnerable Americans with work requirements to receive their benefits. The fact is that's not true. The 20-hour weekly work requirement applies only to able-bodied adults without young children and promotes dignity, stability, and better health outcomes for families. The One Big Beautiful Bill restores the dignity of work with historically bipartisan work requirements for able-bodied Americans. We are implementing common sense, Clinton-era work, volunteer, education, or training requirements with broad bipartisan support. All right? A lot of people were worried about it because you have them on the left screaming that now you're going to have to go get a job. And you're like, I'm a quadriplegic. I literally can't move or do anything. Where do you want me to work? They're trying to tell you, you are not part of this. The able-bodied, I mean, there's quadriplegics out there who can work. That sounds stupid when I say it like that, and I'm fully aware. Their version of able-bodied meaning whatever you can do for, I don't even know how to explain that. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know how to explain that. Y'all know what it means. Y'all understand. My brain understands. My mouth can't figure out how to go from here to there to y'all. So anyway, let's go here. Myth. There's no fraud in Medicaid. The Republicans are just taking coverage away from vulnerable populations. I know for a fact that Elizabeth Warren said that one. I remember when she said it, and I was like, if only I could just put my hand through the phone and smack some sense into you. Anyway, the fact is, in the last 10 years, CMS admitted that improper payments for Medicaid have exceeded $500 billion. In just the past year, taxpayers spent $56 billion on benefits for able-bodied adults abusing the system, and over 1 million illegal aliens are receiving free health care on the backs of taxpayers. The One Big Beautiful Bill removes illegal aliens, enacts work requirements for able-bodied adults, and protects Medicaid for the truly vulnerable. I don't know if you guys have seen this video of Whoopi Goldberg from The View. It's clearly not from right now. There's like Christmas trees and shit in the background. So it's from like December of last year, maybe the one before. And she's going off about how she pays into her insurance all year long, regular insurance all year long, doesn't go to the doctor or the hospital. How come she can't have her money back at the end of the year? Like, she's going off on this. She's so mad that the insurance companies won't give her money back. And my brain is going, well, you dumbass, it's because that money was being then used to all these illegal aliens and all these illegal immigrants and everybody else that can't pay their bills that y'all want to let into the country. It's going to pay their bills now because California is giving them free health care. Illinois is giving them free health care. You know where that's coming from? Your money. Insurance companies are using your money to do these things. The tax dollars are going to paying for those things. You're not going to get your money back because it's being used elsewhere, because that's what you wanted. So you can't sit there on your daytime TV show and make the money you make and bitch and moan that you didn't get your health care money back because you voted for it when you put Biden into place. Anyway, let's continue on. Myth: SNAP work requirements are unnecessary. Fact: only 28% of able-bodied adults on SNAP work. The One Big Beautiful Bill promotes work, responsibility, and restores SNAP to serve the truly needy. SNAP enrollment remains high even in a strong economy, including millions of able-bodied adults who could work. In fact, almost 3/4 of able-bodied adults without dependence on SNAP have no earned income. The mission of the program has failed. SNAP was intended to be temporary help for those who encounter tough times. We are strengthening this program to serve those who need it most. Let's think about this also. Let's look at this from a legit standpoint of, we are sending away millions upon millions of illegal immigrants, right? I mean, I'm good with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But there will be jobs that will now become available because those illegal immigrants have left. Those same people who have complained and bitched and moaned about not being able to get a job, ta-da, go work. Nothing is above you or nothing is beneath you. Like, you can do any job. If I needed to go clean toilets in order to keep my family housed and fed, guess what I'm gonna do? Put a smile on my damn face and go clean the toilets. There are people out there who won't work because they feel the job is beneath them, because that is more important than not requiring or needing handouts from the government. That's more important to them, that they have a job title that sounds good that they can tell their friends about, than actually making a living. They would rather it be something that sounds good, which is, I don't understand that. Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to work someplace that pays really high money and you're like some bigwig, or you do whatever else, but at the end of the day, you need to do what you need to do to keep your family or yourself housed and fed and healthy. Do what you have to do. Don't be a whiny little bitch about it. Go take the job you need to take in order to not have to mooch off the government. And by the government, I mean my taxpayer dollars. That's how I feel about it. You don't have to agree with me, and I'm perfectly okay with that. We're not always going to agree. It'd be really weird if we all thought exactly the same way. It'd be boring as crap in here, right? But at the end of the day, which seems to be my favorite phrase, if you are able to work, take your ass to work. Anyway, let's see here. Myth: illegal aliens don't get federal benefits. Fact: illegals burden taxpayers with billions in costs for free health care and welfare benefits. The One Big Beautiful Bill ends Medicaid and SNAP fraud and ensures these programs serve only eligible Americans. That's what I voted for. I don't know about y'all. That's exactly what I voted for. Myth: the One Big Beautiful Bill doesn't actually end taxes on Social Security. I'm pretty sure that was a Bernie Sanders quote. Fact: the One Big Beautiful Bill delivers historic tax relief to seniors with a new tax deduction that, combined with other deductions, ensures the average Social Security beneficiary will pay zero taxes on Social Security. Okay? Myth: the One Big Beautiful Bill increases the deficit. That's what I've heard so many times, talking about it's going to increase the deficit. All right, well, here's the fact of it. You guys want to know it? Here it is. The One Big Beautiful Bill reduces deficits by over $2 trillion by increasing economic growth and cutting waste, fraud, and abuse across government programs at an unprecedented rate. This legislation delivers historic levels of mandatory savings. President Trump's pro-growth economic formula will reduce the deficit, increase wages, deliver American jobs, and drive down the cost of living. Okay? Now, this one. There's too much pork in this bill. That's the myth. The fact is, there's no pork in the bill. Every single provision in the One Big Beautiful Bill is a campaign promise the American people elected President Trump to deliver. The only new spending in the bill is to secure the homeland of the United States and save American sovereignty, which is fully paid for by increased visa fees on foreigners. So the addition to the ICE brigade, I don't know what to call them, and all this other stuff, it's not your taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars, it's the foreign visas. They're charging them more to come here on their visas, and that money is now being used to fund ICE on helping them get rid of the ones who shouldn't be here. So it's like a money, it's like a wave of money. It comes in from these people, it gets spent here, and then those people get kicked out. I'm okay with that too. Now, there's a lot more here. Let's go with, we're not going to go with that one because there's way too many. Let's go with SNAP. Myth. SNAP is being gutted and cutting food stamps for families, causing them to go hungry, which I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lot of people out there making TikToks right now about how their SNAP was cut and now they're going to starve to death. And for some reason, a lot of these people are pushing a good 300 pounds, if not more. And it's like, it makes it hard for me to feel sorry for you. Just FYI, right? That's like if I sat up here and go, oh my God, I'm so hungry. Girl, you got double chins and everything. You can be hungry for 24 hours. You will be fine. And guess what? If you're on SNAP and they take it away and you're hungry, go get a job, go buy some food. That's how I feel. That's me. Again, you don't have to agree. That's perfectly fine. But after this myth, here's the fact. The One Big Beautiful Bill protects and strengthens SNAP. Right now, almost 3/4 of able-bodied adults without dependence on SNAP have no earned income, and the fraud rate is high. The mission of the program has failed. SNAP was intended to be temporary help for those who encounter tough times. Now it's become so bloated that it is leaving fewer resources for those who truly need help. We are committed to preserving SNAP for the truly needy. Now, I've known people before who, let's say you're in a relationship and one person makes a lot of money, the other person doesn't make that much. But then these people have a baby. Well, the not being married aspect makes it so that the person who makes the least can then apply for all this help, to get all this help, even though between the two of them, they have plenty of money and don't need any help. That's always weird to me. There are people who get married for tax breaks or whatever. There are people who get divorced for tax breaks or whatever. There are people who have babies to get free stuff. There are people who don't have babies to get other stuff. Like it's all a game to a lot of people, like a money game, a numbers game. And the whole point behind what President Trump is trying to do right now is to make it so that it's not a game. It is either you need this or you don't. There is no milking the system. There's no lying to the system. There's none of this. If you need it, you get it. If you don't, you don't, right? We've had way too many victims in this country for way too long. At no point in time do I think I should get any help with paying my bills. Guess what? I don't need it. I can go get a regular job. I can go to Winn-Dixie and bag groceries. I can go to a school and clean toilets. I can go do whatever. I can go run a business. I can go manage a store. I can go do all these different things. But there's so many people out there who could do all these different things and choose not to because they're lazy or they just prefer to have free time, which I still call lazy, whatever. I don't feel bad for the people who are losing the benefits that don't need the benefits, that should not have the benefits to begin with, because then, like I said, it opens up money for people who do truly need the help, and that's who really should be getting it. Let's see. No, that's it. That's all on that one. So I want to, I think it's important that we always have the conversations about what is truly happening versus what we're being told is happening, because they don't always line up, right? You're going to have a lot of information coming at you that's inaccurate from the left, unfortunately, right? In order to scare people into submission. That feels like the right word, actually. Submission, to just fall in line, follow along, do whatever, right? That's what it feels like. So either way, these are just things I wanted you guys to know. If you happen to be on Medicare, it tells you right now there's no changes to Medicare in the One Big Beautiful Bill. There are changes to Medicaid, but they will be positive for American citizens. That's what comes across from all of this to me, right? If I'm missing something there, y'all please let me know. But from what I'm getting from everything that we have seen and we have read from the One Big Beautiful Bill, from President Trump, Caroline Leavitt, all of them, it looks to me like these things are good. I personally still don't agree with the AI portion of it and it having being able to go unchecked for 10 years. That weirds me out, that time frame, all of that. I'm not a fan of it, especially when we talked about, if you watch the AI video, how when AI was given directives, they ignored them on purpose and would basically kill humans in order to meet their goal, the AI goal. That weirded me out. So I'm not 100% on the One Big Beautiful Bill. I think it'd be weird if anybody is 100% on the One Big Beautiful Bill. You will never agree 100% with anybody all the time. It's impossible. Here, it's never going to happen, right? With the bill, it's never going to happen. We're not always going to agree with President Trump, but when you are trying to put your country first, you have to back what your president is doing, I would say, until something goes wrong. So far, what he has done has been beneficial throughout everything. Like if you look at everything he's done with the tariffs, that's been working. With the deportations, that's been working. Everything else. So right now, I'm going to back him on the One Big Beautiful Bill, even though I dislike that one portion of it. I'm not a fan. You know what I mean? But anyway, we'll do another live stream later. We need to talk about Idaho. We need to talk about a bunch of other stuff, but I just wanted to have this conversation with you right now before I head home to cook breakfast for the family because there was time and I thought it was important. So I love you all immensely. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Monday morning and I will see y'all later. Okay, bye. Adios.